Alright folks, day 26. We are almost through with the 31 days of Halloween countdown, and we finally made it into the 21st century. So we're looking at our first film from the OOs, 2006. It's a film called Hatchet. Now Hatchet is a film that I've never seen before until I decided to do this countdown. And obviously it's a film which tries to pay homage to all of the old school slasher films of yore. You've got tons of cameos from some old genre stars in it. And, there's some parts I think that are successful, but overall I think it's a pretty meh movie. Really the only highlight being sort of the inside humor, which really isn't that good, and of course the really, really gory special effects. So basically, what is Hatchet? Well, Hatchet is your standard slasher movie. It's also more of a Scream-inspired inside comedy movies. There's a lot more humor than horror here. And the film revolves around this gigantic Leatherface Jason Voorhees type figure who lives out in the bayou of Louisiana. And the film revolves around a really diverse group of people who are down in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. And it's a pretty eclectic cast. You got a bunch of frat boys, and the main character is actually I don't know the guy's name, but he's the dude in the Leaving Las Vegas video with Katy Perry. He was a guy in Hottie and the Naughty. I don't know his name, but he's the main character, and his pals are with him. And there's like a guy who's like a Girls Gone Wild producer, and he has his stars. There's like an old couple, including Stacy Keach. Yes, the guy from the Ninth Configuration, who now looks like a Wilford Brimley cosplayer in this one. So anyway, they all take like a swamp tour, and of course the main bad guy, the Hatchet dude, shows up, and lots of death ensues. And I mean, the thing about this movie, it's definitely going for like a hard gore. I mean, people just don't get killed in this movie. I mean, they get just absolutely dismembered. Like, people get stabbed in the chin and have their jaws yanked out, and it's very slow. And there are people that have their faces yanked off with like weed whackers. I mean, it's really, really out there. I mean, obviously, it's kind of the movie made by a guy who grew up, on Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, who just did not get his gore quotient out of those movies. So this film definitely tries to overcompensate with the red stuff. And I don't know, I mean, the special effects are good, but I think a lot of it also kind of just boils down to like them taking a bunch of like, red syrup and just splashing it on things. I mean, that's pretty much the extent of it. As far as scares, really not a whole lot here. It takes a really, really long time to get things going. And the denouement, to me, just really isn't all that great. Probably the biggest saving grace of the film, though, is all of the old school horror cameos. The film begins with Robert Englund. I actually think the main character himself, like the main bad guy, is actually played by Kane Hodder. So that's definitely points on. Yeah, but the absolute best thing about this movie is like this early cameo from Tony Todd, who plays like this guy who runs like a haunted tour, and he's like telling the vacationers like this really, long backstory about why he can't do the tours anymore. You think there's like some supernatural angle, but the clincher is just because he got sued because the floors were wet, and it's pretty funny. It's the best thing about the movie, in my humble opinion. So overall, Hatchet, I mean, it tries really hard to kind of capture the old glory of the 1980s, but it really doesn't do it. It's one of those films where I think probably my biggest complaint about horror films from the Scream era onward is that they seem kind of obsessed with just imitating and replicating the old school horror films instead of striking out and doing their own thing. And this is certainly a film that I think kind of plays into that. It's more concerned about being a faithful ode to the old school than actually being a good movie in its own right. And I think it falters and suffers incredibly because of that. That said, if you just go in there with really low expectations and you just kind of use it more of a like background noise while you eat burritos, I mean, it's passable. I mean, I thought it was all right, but just all right. So wrapping up, I'm gonna give it 2 pieces of candy corn out of 4. You can certainly do much better than this one. So you should probably do that then.